Hey guys, how you doing? Alright, let's do it to it. Okay. Alright. So we took on a4. This is a different one. Let's see, how do I want to coordinate this? See, there's a way of playing king c6, but not c6, king takes b6. But then I lose one of my two pieces. I don't like that. I'm not happy with this puzzle here. This is not a fun one. So if we take king takes b6, if knight, no, that there's nothing there. I'm trying to see if I can't find a way to fork on c3 anyway, but I don't think I can. Boy, this is a very tough one. Do you guys have any ideas? Kinda liking this move up here. If I move king c6, let's see, no, there's no fork in that line. Let's see if no. I think there's really only one move. Knight c3, king d4. There's actually a way to hold, but then king c3, king d4, knight c3, king d4. I don't have really anything to. Okay, I got it. So here, if he comes there, I actually come here. If he takes, then we pick it up. Yeah. This actually loses. So there's only one real spot to go to, and it's right here. Wow. Ugh. That was a tough one. Let's see, there's a bishop. There's two bishop checks. Bishop check on, queen check on b5. If the king moves, we grab the bishop. could play this. Let's see here. Bishop e5. No, if we do bishop e5, then he has rook h6. So I don't know about that. I don't like bishop h5. Looking for the most forcing lines. Well, the queen check on b5 looks actually very appealing. Queen takes b5. Not queen takes b5. Queen b5 check. King e1. Queen takes g5. Queen takes g5. Rook takes e6. Rook takes g2. And we're up a piece in that line. Well, now we can basically play bishop to d4. We can actually play bishop d4 here and still be attacking the bishop on g5 and the knight on d3. It's a double attack idea. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can't. It looks tempting to take, but that's the reason it doesn't actually work. You have to play here after here. There's really no way to handle. You're gonna have to drop one piece and then rook takes. Oh, queen. Yeah, rook takes is best in that line. And now we have a lot of pretty much attack going for us. I'm looking at potentially b4 check. If king c4, then we have bishop f7 check. King c3. Rook f3 check. And I think we can potentially pick up the bishop in that line. Because I was thinking about f5 check, rook f5 check, but that allows him to go to bishop to e5, and then we'll never be able to attack him. Right now, the bishop's really on the verge of being taken. So b4 is the move that I'm going to be going with. Then check. Then check up here. and we pick up the piece because it has to keep coming down, and then we grab the bishop. I believe we can actually take the bishop with the pawn. I'm looking at potentially h takes g5. When knight takes g5, queen takes e7. Can we actually pick up a piece in that line? I'm gonna go with it. But now we have to decide, are we going to take with the queen, or the knight? I'm thinking about potentially taking with the knight instead of the queen. See, with knight takes e7. Oops. Knight takes e7. Then we can actually play knight g6, and that would seal up a lot of problems with our knight, queen, and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go knight takes, because the queen doesn't give us anything. Knight takes allows us to go to g6, knight g6, and then we're attacking the queen has to leave, and we're up a whole piece. Okay, let me see here. Knight to b5 is an interesting move. This is interesting. Knight b5. If rook h c8, then we can actually play the in-between move. D takes c c3, and that loses on the spot for him, our opponent, I mean. We can't take the rook yet, because what would happen is the bishop would be able to take the pawn back, and would check, and he'd fork our king and the rook, and we don't want to be down a whole pawn. So then I'm thinking that this is the move here. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, we do win a piece. Okay, didn't see that. Hmm. So let's see. Why doesn't this work here? Okay, rookie. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, that's sneaky right there. So it has to be this way here so that we can come up. Okay, didn't see that. That I actually did calculate. I didn't see that. I really didn't. Bishop h4. Check. And that stops him from fleeing. If we play check this way, he can actually flee. This stops him. So bishop h4, check. And the knight's going to have to... There's two knight interceptions. And then there's actually a queen interception here. So potentially we could win a queen. And then we can actually win this knight over here in the corner. So we can win a lot of material. Is there any other? Well, we do have a block here. We could, so that the queen can't intercept, we could actually block on d4. But could he actually run here though? And then leave? That's the whole thing. Do we have bishop h4, allow the queen intercept, and then we pick it up for a pawn? Or do we play bishop d4? And then he moves to king to e1, queen f2 check, king d1. Then we don't really have anything after. Well, we could potentially take the knight with check. Boy, this is an interesting one for sure. Do we have a mate? See, that's what we have to look at. Do we have a mate if we play bishop d4 check, king e1, queen f2 check, king d1. We can actually play queen takes, e2 check, king c2, bishop e4 or e5 check, d3, bishop takes, d3 check, king b3, bishop c2 check, king b4, bishop takes a4, king takes a4. I don't know if we like that line. Let's check the other line. Let's see if we can't make a more simple line. Bishop h4 check, h4 check, queen f4, and then e takes f4. So I'm gonna go with this one here. Oh, you're kidding me. Really, it's that? Huh. This is more complex though. The other one should, I believe, win the queen. Well, maybe it's because of the knight. It does it because knight intercepts. Okay, so it's the knight intercepts. But this, let's see if we block here, king e1 check. Let's see if our idea actually comes to fruition. b5, okay. Queen takes. Okay. That one was difficult. I did not. Okay. That was a difficult one. I did look at that, and the line looked almost unrealistic, like it was going to actually win. But you know, sometimes the most unrealistic ones are the ones that win. Okay, now. Okay, this is different, to say the least. We're in this one, we're in check, so we have to decide. We have really two moves. Two. That's it. We have first we have to look at is queen takes f2 or king f1. So we got to look at those. Those are the two only candidate moves. Okay, first of all, we have, let's take a look at the king move, because you always got to look at the king moves. That's what I do, because we know what the consequences of the queen takes would be queen takes. So let's see what would happen with king f1. Actually, let's look at the most forcing line. So we will look at queen takes f2. That's a lot more forcing. If queen takes f2, king takes f2, rook takes d7. We do have the two bishops, but is it enough? Can we get anything more? Can we kind of do just a subtle sideline? So you have to always be careful with these lines here. Okay, king f1. We have to be careful. Rook h1 check. And we have to then we're kind of forced to take, because if we go king e2, he can actually checkmate us with queen e3. So we're forced to actually play bishop takes h1. Then you have queen g1 check. King e2. If rook if rook e8 check, we have bishop e5 check. So that'd be an intercept. Are we satisfied with basically an equal position, or do we want to go for more of a kind of rambunctious where we actually win a rook? We win almost everything in that line. He doesn't really have a, after king f1 and all that, doesn't really have any good moves even after the check, because the bishop covers the rook. I'm going to go king f1. And then we pick up the queen. Because there's no real, I'll show you the line that I was talking about, there's no real good way for our opponent to handle our threat. This would be his only way, but then he loses a piece, and if he tries something like this, he tries to come over with check, we can actually intercept here. And bishop e5 is mate, I believe. Is that right? Mate Nate? Yeah. King a8. Rook to g1, and we pick up a queen. So that idea doesn't fly for our opponent. We can actually take the f7 pawn, but do we acquire really anything for that with the knight? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, because we have to check to see if knight takes f7. Do we get anything though? Do we really acquire anything? I don't really see much. I don't see anything really. We do hold on to the pawn. Rook takes, and then we could, this is kind of an idea, so let's take a look. Rook takes f7. Rook b8 check. Rook f8. Rook takes f8 check. If bishop takes f8, what do we do then? What do we do? What do we do? There's rook b8. If queen takes, we'll say queen takes b8. Not b8, sorry. Queen takes e5. That's right. Queen takes e5. Rook takes f8. Check. If bishop takes f8. So he'll have to play king takes f8. Wow. I think we're winning in that line. Yeah. I think we're actually winning here. Yeah, rook b8's the move. Let's see, do we take with the queen? Oh boy, boy. We could take check. But then the bishop runs back. Then we could actually come back. But then the knight can actually, well, no. The knight can't grab that because then we would win the queen. So if we actually take the rook, bishop intercepts, we come back. The knight can't take. The queen could take, but then we grab that and we mate. Let's see, we can grab the bishop and actually be up material, yeah. And there's really, he could come up, but that's still, we could take, he comes down here. We might want to actually check it at this point there. And then he would have to come. Let's work this all the way out, because this is an interesting one. I want to get to that point, and let's work this out, see how we do. Okay, so he actually played there. We're talking if he plays here, here. If he comes to f8, it's actually well, h6, knight takes, and then he comes, and we basically made him. So if he comes here, we have knight check, king h5, and then that's checkmate. So if he comes here, it's check, checkmate. So the only way to hold is knight takes, and then we got f4, and then queen checks on d, king h1, and now we're attacking the knight, so he's got to try to trade off. You could trade, but I don't think that's a wise idea. You'd probably want to infiltrate in more, and then if b7, you just take the knight. And so you sometimes got to be careful when they have outside passers. They actually have an extra 3 pawns, so you just got to be on your game. Yeah, this is a study. You have to be prepared. See, we have to somehow win the queen or mate the queen, which not mate the queen. Sorry, we attack the queen and win the queen. We gotta checkmate the king. That's what I mean. Checkmate the king. That's funny. Everybody wants to win the queen, so had the queen on the mind, because that's usually the name of the game, is to somehow trade at least one of these pieces off, or 2 of these pieces, to get this and be left with a minor piece. Then you can gobble these pawns up. So first and foremost, some ideas that we are potentially exploring are there's c5 check, or knight e8 check, or knight f5 check. There's a couple ideas like that. Those are a couple moves. Knight f5, king. He can't go to any of the light squares. Well, he could potentially go to e6. But then what do we do? How do we check any further? See, we're just going to check the knights out. Knight f5, check. If king e6, what do we do now? I don't really see, except we can move back, but then he goes f6, and then he's basically safe. So we don't have any more attacks after that. He's going to be on at least c6, d7 to be able to fork the queen on f3. So let's check out c5 now. c5, check. The king can't go to b6 or c6 or d7. He could try king e7, knight takes e5, check. Not check, but knight takes e5. The queen would have to move at that point. And the queen potentially could take. So it's, don't tell me it's this. Huh. Nope, not that. Okay. Oh, okay. Nope. Not that. I thought for sure that, because then if the queen takes, then we win that. No, I'm not sure. Let's get a hint. Oh. Okay. Now we win. So knight takes. Knight there, check. He takes here. There. Let's try that again. Okay. This is an idea right off the bat. Rook g2, check. King f1, rook takes. E2, king takes e2, and then king g2, and we're free to roam and queen the pawn. see. Oh, we can pick up a rook. Queen C6, rook B8, and then Queen C7, check, and we pick up a rook. There we go. Let's take a look at rook takes. Let's look at the most forcing line. Rook takes h7, and then king takes h7, queen h4, king g7, queen h5, and we almost have mate there. Almost got him. But I have to recalibrate to see if we're on the right track. Let me see. Rook takes h7, king takes h7, queen h4, king g7, king h5, queen c7. I don't know if we actually have enough compensation for that. Trying to see if we can't make it work. Like queen h4, queen c7, and nothing's getting through at that point. We've lost our opportunity. It's the only forcing line that we got. We have to push. I was looking at G5 is the only way to get anything going, because then we got mate. G5, if he doesn't take, we get mate. G5, F takes G5, queen takes, check. He comes over here, check. He comes back, checkmate. G5 is the only move that, because we don't, if we try doing, the reason it's 24% pass rate. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at. Good find there. Good find there, smart. That was good. That's right, because oops, come on, work with me. Don't, there we go. And if he comes over here, if we try this, he can actually play there, and there's really nothing we can do. If we try checking, he comes there, and then he's winning. So that's that. If you're wondering why it was a 27% pass, or 24 or whatever, it's because a lot of players have played h5, and queen h5 doesn't work. Oops, sorry. It's the only move that works is this, because if he like plays something like this, we have mate. If he tries to take, we have mate. We have mate 2. He can actually potentially go there, check there, and then checkmate. So actually 24%, not 27%. Wow. You have to, when you get up to the higher levels, there's a bunch of different choices, but there's only one, and there's some that look tempting. You have to, though, make sure that the one that you're choosing is actually not the one that they're putting out there as, I always think of it, red herring kind of setup. Okay, here we go. Man, this is looking pretty tempting here. Rook h7 check. Knight h5. I think we can let's see. Well, yeah, g5 works great, so you did a great job there. Okay, so rook h5. Now, well, the queen can't take, because if the queen took, it's mate. So the knight has to basically take, and then when then we can actually take the rook at that point. Rook h7. Now we have to decide, if we take the rook right away, the queen will take our rook. So we have to throw an in-between kind of move in. Rook takes, and if king takes, then we just take the rook, and we're up a rook. and we can actually hold at that point. So there'll be a couple. Actually, there is no check. There are no checks, are there? Wow. And potentially we're heading towards a maybe even a mate for us. So that's nice. The reason probably 44% is if we go back, they probably took the rook and forgot about that our other rook's hanging. So back here with this, the reason it's 44% pass is they forgot about this rook here, the h7 rook. They didn't take into account you had to sacrifice basically it, then you pick up another piece at that point. Okay. First of all, you have to check on f6. He comes over. Let's see. Let's make sure this is right. Bishop f6. Check. King f8. What do you guys think? Boy, this is a tough one. Kinda, because I'm trying to work this out. Can we actually go after rook g8 check? King takes g8 and then rook g1, but I think he just goes king f8 again and we don't acquire anything. So maybe we have to actually double up our attack. Maybe we have to do rook. Maybe we have to play rook dg1 first. Trying to think, is that just is that how it could work? What do you guys think on this one, huh? Yeah, I'm open for suggestions. Because I'm a little concerned if rook, not scared, because you never should be concerned. Yeah, I'm thinking that one too. Because the other ones don't work. Because this is a one that I'm surprised it got so high of a idea. Yeah, because this one is very tricky. So you got to be careful that you don't fall for. There's always the Morphe type of mate that could come to pass and cause a lot of problems. Like this doesn't work because you don't have a check. You don't have the ability to come in, and this actually is a safe spot right there. So don't get tricked on that one. And you have to be careful. Bishop takes is not. Bishop takes f7 is not. This is not the right one. See, queen takes f7 check. Then what happens is king d8, and then we play queen to f6. And if rook goes up to h7, we can actually play queen takes f8 check. That picks up a piece. We either get a bishop or a rook. See, what you're probably wondering, why was it 36% pass rate? This looks very interesting, but the problem is the rook can actually come up, and now you don't have this double attack anymore, and you can't really attack this again because the knight covers these 2 points, so you lose your ability on that. We weaken this whole diagonal here, and that's really nice. I'm looking at potentially knight a2. Actually, we could potentially win a rook here. My bad. Sorry, I need to go d4 first. d4 first. When the knight moves to, we'll say, e2, e2, we can actually go queen a2, and we pick up a rook. Queen a2 picks up a rook after that. Oh, he goes there. That rook's trapped. Knight e5, huh? Knight e5, knight take. Well, actually, if knight take, we may have to take the other knight first, because he'll try to get his knight to f6 to guard. So we might actually have to play after that knight. Knight takes d5. If bishop takes d5, knight e5. So mainly it would be pawn takes e5. Yeah. I'll show you the line I was talking about. I know I didn't write it in, but this is the line I was telling you about. If he takes here, then we have knight e5, and basically we win on the spot. If pawn takes, knight e5, bishop e7, and then queen f3, which does a tremendous attack. If queen here, then we can actually take the pawn, double attack. We're attacking there. Oops, sorry, I don't want that. What are you doing? So we're attacking here and here. So good. Hold on, I will get you guys a unrated game, and I'll be right back. I mean, unrated game, unrated puzzle, and we'll be right back. Have you guys put an answer in yet on seeing what the puzzle might be? It's actually bishop h3. Let's see, king e8, rook b8 check, king d7, and rook takes g8. That's an idea. Maybe I have this inputted wrong. Hold on. I think he could actually go back to f7. Huh. So I like bishop h3. Oh, wrong. So let's give that another shot. Wow. It's a good thing we took a look at that. Wow, it's a 2600 level puzzle. Whew. Snikes. It's unrated, so we were blessed there. Yeah. So we learned a good lesson. Calculate both lines. I did not see that. That was a wow. Let's just say wow. Excuse me. I think we have to take the queen with our bishop. I think we're kind of stuck in that line. Yeah. Okay, queen takes h5. Um, G takes h1. Bishop f1. Oh man. Are we kind of stuck playing rook g1? What do you kind of like that? I think we might be stuck with that. Let's see, rook g1, bishop takes d1, rook takes d1, bishop takes d1, rook takes g2. So if we play queen takes h5, G takes H1 equals queen check king D2. If queen takes A1, what do we have after that? Absolutely nothing. And he's up actually a queen, 2 rooks, and we're in a mess. Actually, we could throw in this. Rook G1, bishop takes D1. We don't have to take the bishop right away. We could play bishop takes F8. If the bishop comes back, we'll say to F3, bishop F3, we can actually play bishop takes G7. And then we're up a whole entire piece in that line. And then we can slowly maneuver our bishop around to trade off that bishop and then win the pawn. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking it's rook G1. I'm gonna go with it. This is a way to win a piece. How about bishop E2? Let's take a look at that. So after takes here, nice bishop bishop E2. He still has this idea, and then he can actually basically take if he wanted to. There, yeah. The one line I was looking at after takes and then there, I was thinking that after he plays here we would take, but the problem with that is he equalizes there. We're still up, but not enough. This right here, if we wait, it's a double attack. We have here and here, so he has to come back. Then we can actually grab the G pawn. Actually, he doesn't have to come back. What I was thinking is here, G pawn, then rook slides over, and bishop H. Let's see, F. I like E5, because then we can play bishop to G3, bishop E2, and then snap off this pawn next after he trades, and then we trade. We can take the pawn. So we're winning. Well, that was kind of a tough one there, not a fun one. Excuse me. We'll do one more, then we'll do a Gadakamsky game. Okay. Okay, let's do this one here. We got this. Alrighty then. That move was actually a mistake. It put the C rook, the C2 rook right here. It put the C2 rook in threat. So I know it looks tempting to play Queen D1, but then the queen would actually take on D3. So if we tried Queen D1, he can actually play Queen takes D3. So that's not part of our idea, so that won't work. Hmm. Interesting. One idea is rook c1. So rook c1. Rook takes c1. Queen c8 check. If bishop c7, rook takes c1 check. King goes to d6. What do we do after king d? Okay, rook c1 check. Ooh, we can actually involve our knight at that point. Nice. We can actually get the knight involved. Nice, nice, nice. Nice, nice. Okay. Knight e4 check. And then we got a pretty good attack coming there. We blocked the mate, and we're doing really good. Actually, we're doing really good. We can't move the queen just yet. Well, we can't move the queen just yet because if queen c8, he's got queen g2 mate. We can't move the queen just yet. He's got mate on g2 with his knight. So if we tried that after the block, we don't really have enough time to do our idea because he has mate on g2. I mean, he'd be in check. I know what you're saying. I need to continue the line out a little further. I know. I'll keep that right there. But that's a check. Yeah. Bishop c7, and we don't have time. If we tried bishop takes c7, he's got queen mate there, so we don't have time to actually do it. And we can't involve our knight. We wouldn't be able to involve our knight in that line if we did the other one. We wouldn't be able to involve the knight because the knight's pinned to our king. I'm pretty sure that this is the move. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Wow. No? Oops, let's see here. What are we? Oh, you were right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I totally missed that. That was weird. Huh. Okay, rook there. Oops, wrong. Rook f6, sorry. Okay, gotcha, yeah. My idea was this, and e4 check. Wow, okay, I missed that. Let's try that again. we'll do one more. Yikes. That did not sit well on our rating points one bit. Wow. Ooh. Okay, we got to reinstitute. Let's see here. There. Yikes. Okay. A6. 1 second. Excuse me. A6. If king C7, D6 check. If king B7, D7, and he can't stop both of them. Yeah, I was looking at A takes B6, and he's got bishop F3, and we're kind of stuck. But the other way, he doesn't have enough time to stop it. Let's say 6, bishop F3, and we go A7, and there's no way to stop it in time. No. Yeah, A6. Oh, no. Too fast. One more, and whatever happens after this one, we're going to go to Gata. Okay. Let's stay focused on this here. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. We just have to slow down. That was my fault. So we'll get it. Now we are going to look at Queen C2. Queen C2 is that threatens the bishop on B2, and it threatens the pawn on G2 with check. So is there any way for him to save the bishop? No. So let's check lines. Queen C2. If rook F2, queen takes b2, and rook takes e2, queen takes e2, we're up a piece. Let's queen c2. If rook, we'll say f1 to b1, queen rook takes g2 check. If king f1, queen e2 mate. Is there any way of him saving the bishop using the queen? Not that I can recollect. So queen c2 is it? No. Okay, we're done after. We're not going to do any more with this. Calling on that. Why? Oh, you're okay. You lure him. Hold on. Let me. We'll stop here because we're on a bad thing. Nakamura always says if you play online games like 2 or 3 and you lose 2 or 3 back to back, you usually just stop. So we're kind of on a 3 not good one. I was wondering why in the world is that not right? Oh, okay, because it's protected that way. Yeah, we'll just do a Gadakovsky game. That's okay. You're not always gonna have a. Sometimes you have those back-to-back not good ones, and so we'll yeah, we'll just get out of that. Do this one. Okay, so d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5. And what Gada is predicting to play is not. This isn't Gada. I'm sorry. Gada. He wants to usually do either e4, e3. Sometimes you can play a queen c4 like what he plays. It all depends on if you want to be more of an aggressive player. This is an idea as well. E3 is playable too, but if you want to be more aggressive, you can do c4. Sorry, I mean if you want to do the London system more here, this is what I mean. Sorry, and then you can actually bring it out like this. Come here. Play there, here, and you kind of got a very symmetrical position here. Takes. Second. So that's an idea, but Gada wanted to be more attacking because you can do that too if you wanted to. You can oops, sorry, F4, push the wrong button on my keyboard. E6. This is so that if he takes, he'll take back with the pawn. So G6. He doesn't want to trade off because that, if you're looking at it from a French type of position, this is the French, you don't want to give up your dark square bishop because that's your best piece. And also this bishop is kind of awkward now, so you need to be able to just drop it. You don't want to give up your best bishop, especially when it will take almost forever to get this bishop out, the light square bishop. So bishop g2, Gada's got his bishop to an active square because he's predicting that potentially if he takes there, this bishop has an h1 to a8 diagonal. Castles, knight bd7, queen c2, and this was a dubious move right here. They should actually cement their position and maybe try to, if they can, maybe not fianchetto, but get their bishop outside, something like that. But I don't understand. This move doesn't make really any sense. They're trying to get rid of the dark squared bishop, which the oddest thing is this dark squared bishop is Gadakomsky's kind of worst piece if you want to look at it. And the best move is actually f4 here because it flows with the London system type of play. This is kind of like a London system, but a little bit awkward. You can mix it up somewhat. Just keep some action here. Gotta play rook d1, which is also dubious too, because this if he takes here, you could take back with the pawn. Then he could take, and now the position's starting to become more open. And if later, let's say queen e8, c5 is possibly playable. So c3 or c6, another kind of waste of a move. He should actually try to get his pieces developed. You know what, we all make kind of not good moves every once in a while. And then rook a takes there, and now you have to play I've noticed that a5's a big move because of takes, you pick up a pawn. So when you kind of gambit at a pawn here for a while to get it back, you have to kind of play this move. This is kind of like a stop the saving of a move there. So I played there. He didn't want to give up his dark square bishop. I understand that, but he kind of entombed it, and he's got to be careful that he doesn't make it a tall pawn. f3, f2. Ooh, I do not like that. That is not a very fun move there. This move does make some sense, but you have to remember that it's knights, but we have our pieces too, so we really haven't traded anything off. And if you want to look at it, Gada has more space, so he can actually push for more space. And if the player wants to do that, then you can actually potentially take, rook takes, and then go knight into e4 with a threat of a take there. So you'd have to move his rook back, and then you bring your knight right into the heart of the position. And that's a really powerful outpost. We're not going to trade it off for this ugly bishop. Maybe later on, if we want to, we could. But this position is so cramped for Gada's opponent. His opponent really missed. His opponent missed the best idea of potentially saving his position via advanced fianchetto. King h8 was a mistake because what's he actually doing? Gada's got a cramp on him. Potentially this move probably could be played. This would lock down any counterplay on the queen side. So that might be a playable idea. But he might try something like this. But then you have b4, so and the bishop is somewhat outside the pawn chain. You could potentially try now to lock it down, but you just got to be careful. These bishops really, the reason it was considered dubious is these bishops really aren't doing anything. They're more of a tall pawn in Jeremy Silman's idea. It's doing a defensive task. It's not really attacking. It's not really putting any power into an attack. And it doesn't have to be a direct attack. It could be that you're preparing to attack on a square on the board. But knight, and then he takes. Wow, this was a mistake here. I'm surprised Gata actually missed this one here. This is actually a really good move, because you're depriving the knight of squares, you're depriving the bishop, and if that gets played, you can actually take. And if knight takes, you can come here and the knight comes back. Now you got a passer, and both your bishops are free to snipe the entire board at that point. This makes this bishop bad. Now Gata has a bad bishop. Sad. e4. He's trying to make it better, but this time he's creating an isolated pawn. In theory, you could do this, but now you got an isolated pawn, and it's kind of a weakness now. You really don't want an isolated pawn, so you got to be careful when you make your isolated pawns, especially in a closed game. You don't want it to become a sore thumb that only a piece could actually. Isolated pawns could only be protected by pieces. Bishop, another mistake. A. I think at this point I might have tried to go for more of a squeeze. Maybe this, and then this makes the bishop have to go all the way back there. So, and now you can actually potentially reroute in, and you can pick this pawn up. The position's closed. You have to be careful though. Now that the position's closed, there's no ability for opening. So I can understand Gata's idea about that. Now he's got a pass pawn, so that's good. And he's going to put pressure on it. And the idea is to bring a knight in here and go for an attack there. And now we have a rook that can infiltrate in. B takes was a mistake. It created 3 isolated pawns, and these are isolated, basically isolated. I don't know what to even call them. They're like 2 isolated ones in the same file. Not good. Wow, that was a big time mistake. Yeah, because that walked right into a pawn. Potentially, let's see, what would have been the best move? I know there's a best move here. Oh, so that was the best move. 17 pawns. Okay, do you guys have any questions on the Gadakovsky game? I'll give you guys a minute to, if you have any questions on like what we went over or anything. Okay, I'll take that as a note. Well, ooh, I hope it doesn't lag on me. Okay, I want to remember what Tom Thumb Thumb said. The You have to treasure your victories and learn from your losses. So we've learned from our losses. We treasured our victories, and we're learning from our losses. So you're not always going to get them right. Sometimes the moves that you think are right are kind of not right. So, and we're getting better. We're improving. We're pushing forward. But we know what, we all make mistakes, and it's what you do. Remember what he says. Remember that mistakes don't define you. It's how you handle the mistakes that define you. So it's not if you're going to make a mistake. It's just when you're going to make a mistake, and it's how you handle the mistake that defines you, my friends. Do you get upset, or do you learn from it and then you don't do it again? Like Bruce Lee says, there are no limits, there are plateaus, and you must not stay there, you must go beyond it. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. And we always have to remember that the Lord, as it says, is the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And sometimes it's a trial that He puts us through to see if if we lose a certain amount of points, are we going to turn, or are we going to keep pushing forward? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep pushing forward because I know you, my chess friends, would do the same as well, and always be not, you want to be happy, never satisfied, because you want to be happy in the field that you're doing. Satisfied makes you complacent, and you don't want to be complacent. You want to always be striving for greater things. And guess what? We're still in the 2200 level club, so that's good. You know what? Yeah, we lost like 34 in like 3 puzzles, but guess what? You know what? We learned from those puzzles. We found out where we went wrong, and we now can apply that knowledge to our games online and over the board. So it's a give and take. You sometimes have to make a mistake to actually learn more than getting it right. And we have to keep our swords sharpened. And my teacher told me that when you get better, which we are getting better, your points will follow. So I believe that, and I know you guys do too, and you're sticking with me, and we're gonna keep rising above it. And we have to keep always moving forward, never giving up, never giving in, and always striving for greater things. And we always have to do what we always say. Remember, don't play the 1 minute, or the hyper blitz, or the 3 minute, or the 5 minute, or the 10 minute. Do your best to switch from that to more study. Because I know playing's fun, but study is where you improve. And what do? We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down and study, like we just talked about. When most won't, we do. And that makes all the difference. And as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless. I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And we'll keep pushing forward and striving for greater things. And always remember, we have to remember what Hannibal Smith said too. I wanted to throw this in. Always think at least 5 moves ahead, or, as Bobby Fischer and the Grandmasters say, 1 move ahead of your opponent is enough. And if it's the right one, you win or draw. So great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hoorah. Be blessed and keep studying and having fun in the Lord. Bye-bye.